Hi, my name is Becky Jennings, and this is the Responsible Parenting Podcast. I give you the transformational tools to stop reacting to your children in the moment and start responding with intention. Do you find yourself locked in a daily power struggle with your child? Do you fall back into old patterns like yelling or threatening just to stop the annoying behavior? Are you desperate to learn how to connect with your kids, set boundaries, heck, gain some cooperation? If this is you, you need to check out my community. Inside my community, you'll have access to my signature Strong-Willed Language course, where you learn how to regulate yourself, understand and speak your strong-willed kids' language to virtually eliminate the constant power struggles. You'll have access to my workshop library, giving you step-by-step strategies for sibling rivalry, listening, anger and aggression, emotional regulation, and more. You'll have weekly Q&A opportunities to get personalized answers on challenging situations. You'll get specific strategies for you based on exactly what's going on in your home. No umbrella strategy, no umbrella script, no bots. You'll get a personalized roadmap to support you. Plus, you'll get dozens of bite-sized lessons to regroup, stay on track, and stay motivated. It is time to stop walking on eggshells around your children and finally experience the release you are looking for. Join the community today and let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Responsible Parenting. I am your host, Becky Jennings. Today, I'm actually answering a question from Instagram, and I didn't get a huge paragraph. This was I think it was in a question box, actually. So it's a very short question. But essentially, what this parent is dealing with is a toddler tantrum that is very physical. So when the toddler isn't getting what they want, the toddler is throwing themselves on the ground, and it happens a lot when they're like holding their hand. And this person says they're using their weight against us as a weapon. Like, how do I deal with that? And so I first want to talk a little bit about the development of a toddler, and I want to talk about why they probably aren't weaponizing their physicality, but why that might be the only thing that they know to use to express themselves. So right now, in terms of development, if you're in the toddler stage, you're like under 3, you're only learning your motor skills, you're learning how to walk. At this point, you're learning if somebody leaves the room, are they going to come back? You're learning where food goes. You're learning how to, where potty goes. Everything is physical. Everything is physical. And we don't have a lot of verbal communication skills at this point, like babble, right? And we might get a one word here or there, but they cannot express to you at this time why they are frustrated. They can't put into a sentence what is bothering them. So at this point, toddlers are going to use their physicality to express what is going on for them. And when you're holding their hand and you're walking through a grocery store and they throw themselves on the ground because they can't get what they want, it makes sense because they're frustrated, but they don't know how to say it. And our children are born with every single primal feeling, but with zero regulation strategies, with zero skills as to what to do when they feel completely flooded with these emotions, right? You've seen babies on Instagram who cannot stop laughing, and it is the cutest thing, right? That's also them being totally consumed with a behavior or with an emotion that we accept. But when they're flooded with an emotion that elicits screaming, crying, flinging themselves on the ground, that is something that it's harder to accept because it's triggering to us. It's frustrating to us. It's embarrassing if people are looking at us and they see us dealing with a child on the ground. It's like we've forgotten that that's a normal part of development. So I have a couple things listed out, but I first really want to just acknowledge the fact that that is completely normal. It's 100% normal and expected at this time. Our toddlers are going to communicate through their physical abilities. They are going to communicate any way they know how, and all they know right now is their physical stuff. So if we can kind of take a step back and reflect and know that this is not a weapon, they're not using their body against you to weaponize it, to manipulate, to do anything. They're just trying to communicate. And all behavior, even ours, is our best attempt to communicate a need, a want. Our children at this age, they cannot distinguish between needs and wants. It's just they can't. We're having a hard time as adults distinguishing between needs and wants. So just to kind of pause and reflect and remember that our children, their behavior is their best attempt at communication. And communication for our toddlers is not verbal. It is going to be physical. And that's when you see the snuggling. That's when you see the reaching out for us. That's when you see the tantrums. That's when you see all of these things. That's communication. So when we can look at it as communication versus something they're deliberately doing to us against us, it gives us an opportunity to soften. It gives us an opportunity to understand what's happening and not look at it as something we need to fix, rather something that we can tune into to gain valuable information. So as we see this experience, right, as maybe we're walking through the grocery store and they don't get what they want and they go dead weight, and we start to feel that panic and that trigger inside of us, that is our time to slow down and stop. That panicked rising feeling in our body, that's our nervous system telling us that we're under threat, that this needs to be fixed, we need to protect ourselves. But we can rationally remember that that nervous system trigger is a sign for us to slow down and reflect, a sign for us to slow down and ground ourselves in the moment. So that might look like you taking 5 deep breaths as your child is on the ground. Maybe you even, and I know this sounds a little crazy and out there, but maybe you sit down on the ground and hold that child in your lap while you calm yourself down. That could be an option. And people might look at you and go, oh my gosh. But I bet you more people will look at you and go, holy cow, that person's really taking charge. That person is really owning this meltdown. So we ground ourselves first. And even if you go down one notch, that is better than losing our cool, than physically reacting, than just, losing it on our kids. So instead of reacting to that, because our reaction is only going to escalate it. Our reaction is only going to dysregulate our child further, only going to send them into the red zone further, because what they're looking for from us right now is comfort and acknowledgement. They are not looking for us to punish them, to explain to them what's happening. They're so offline at this moment that even if we sat down and reflected on, or even if we sat down and told them what's going on and explained to them and justify why they can't have the thing, nothing, it's all sailing over their head. So we need to really dial back our reaction and stay as sturdy as possible. So we're grounding. We are grounding into the moment as best we can, because our reaction determines how long this meltdown lasts. If we are grounded and we don't give in to the meltdown, if we slow ourselves down and we gift our child our slow, calm, regulated nervous system, we are going to move them through this tantrum much, much, much faster. But if we react, if we yell, if we get all snarly in their face, if we hover over them and, are really scary, it's going to escalate this much, much bigger. The next thing that we need to really focus on is simply narrating, just acknowledging what is happening in the room. I see that you really wanted that and you're not getting it and you're upset. Period. We do not need to add anything more. We don't need to add a justification as to why. We don't need to explain our reasoning at all. Currently, they are a toddler and they wouldn't be able to understand our reasonings anyways. So we just need to acknowledge what is going on. We just need to acknowledge that we see their feelings. And we do this by narrating and making some guesses, because at this point, they might not be able to have the communication skills. So we're going to make some guesses. I imagine that you're pretty upset. I can see from your tears you're really angry right now. I get that. Simple as that. We don't need to go further. All we need to do is acknowledge what is happening for them and be that safe space, be that safe, nurturing environment for them so that they are able to safely express these feelings. Because the one thing that we can guarantee is when you suppress a feeling or an emotion in a child, it's just going to come out in a different way on a different person later. So it's the idea of suppressing it to make it go away We're actually just creating a pot that is boiling underneath the surface, and we're gonna get to a boiling point where it explodes, and it's gonna be uglier than just slowing down and acknowledging by narrating in the moment. Then I like to just offer some choices. And if they're not verbal enough, we can walk them through this. I see that you're having a really hard time. I'm going to hold you in this moment to keep you and I safe. I'm going to put you in the cart to keep us safe. I'm going to leave the grocery store right now to keep us safe. Whatever we need to say. But if they are verbal, you could offer them two choices. Would you like to hold my hand and walk through the grocery store together? Or I can help you and I can hold you. This gives them that opportunity if they are really trying to exert a lot of control. You give them these two choices. One choice is them making the right choice independently. The next choice, if they can't access that, is to help them make that right choice by holding them, by supporting them, by being that sturdy person who is helping them through this tantrum. Then you're going to focus on what you want to see. Instead of saying, don't do this or don't fall down or whatever it is that we don't want to see. Our children do not have the ability, and even adults, if you say something we're going to focus on, or if you say, like, don't jump on the couch, our children are going to hear jump on the couch, right? So we want to focus on what we want to see. We're walking through the grocery store. You're holding my hand. I'm going to sit you in the cart. We're keeping our hands in our lap. As opposed to saying, don't touch that, you can say, your hands go in your lap. As opposed to saying, stop falling on the floor, you can say, we sit in the cart. Or you hold my hand and we walk together. Any number of ways that you can say what you want to see. Next is setting some clear expectations ahead of time. Our children are carted around everywhere, and especially as toddlers, they don't know what the heck is going on. So if we can state and kind of narrate what we're doing, we're getting in the car. We're going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to have you sit in the cart so that we don't touch anything, whatever we want to say. We're setting clear expectations ahead of time. I'm going to set you in the cart and we're going to be explorers. We're going to keep our hands in the cart and we're going to explore with our eyes, right? Any way you can incorporate play into the clear expectations, you're going to get a much better outcome with your child because they are going to want to play the game that you have laid out. They're going to want to be a part of this mystery. What are you going to find? Oh, we have a list of clues. It's the grocery list. I wonder where we can find the cereal, right? So if we can create some sort of game and play, can you help me find it? Is this it? Oh, it's not it. Oh my gosh, we're in the yogurt section and we're looking for beans. That doesn't make sense. Any way we can add play and infuse play is going to keep our child engaged, which will also keep them away from that bored, longing to reach out to things, that meltdown that is inevitable when we've kind of pushed their capacity a little too far. And lastly, when you see them acting in the way that you want, really focusing on acknowledging that. "Oh, I saw you did such a great job keeping your hands in your lap in the cart. That was amazing. Wow. That must have been really hard work, and you did it." We're not saying I'm giving you a prize. We're not saying I'm so proud of you for how awesome you did. We're acknowledging their efforts. We're acknowledging that they really followed through and you're really impressed. You're really impressed and you're wondering how they did that. How did you do that? I couldn't even do that. How did you do that? And we're really building up that positive reinforcement. I want to share my free guide to managing our kids' meltdowns. We know that meltdowns are normal, but they still suck and can be ridiculously triggering. This 4-step free guide will help you break the cycle of reactivity and help you get through the meltdown without snapping yourself. Don't join your kid in the tantrum. Grab my free guide and learn how to manage meltdowns like a pro. Head to responseableparenting.ck.page/meltdown or just go and click the link in my show notes and get your guide today. So remember, we have to meet our toddlers at their developmental stage. They don't have the capacity to really focus on anything for a long extended period of time. They don't know the rules of the game at this point. They're still in observation mode. They are still gathering all the data. So if we can help gather this data that we really want them to see, that we really want them to utilize, let's model that by really focusing and taking our intentional time on mapping out our expectations. We're not reacting to these meltdowns because they're developmentally appropriate and they're not an attack on us. So we are not going to be reacting. We're going to be acknowledging their feelings, acknowledging this by narrating what is going on for them or what we perceive and imagine could be going on for them. We're going to be offering them choices. The first choice is always going to be something that they can show us that they can do it independently. We're going to be giving them the right idea. We're going to be implanting, this is choice number 1. This is the desired choice, right? And if they can't access this, choice number 2 is us coming in and supporting them through that. Then we're going to be focusing on what we want to see. We're not saying, don't do this. We're saying, ooh, we keep our hands here, or we walk like this. We're focusing on what we want to see. And ahead of time, we're going to be narrating and giving them the expectations of what we want to see. We're going to the grocery store. We're going to be explorers. We're infusing play into the situation. If we're in a parking lot, we're going to be bunnies. We're going to hop together, but we have to hop at the same time, holding hands together. Can we do it? Right? We're going to be trying to be a team. We're going to be joining some sort of secret game about what we have to get through. And then we're going to be positively reinforcing when we see them do an amazing job. We are going to say, you hopped like such an amazing bunny and you held my hand the whole time. That was awesome. Big hug, big connection, high fives. Let's move on. Okay. I hope that was really, really helpful to kind of walk you through how to not react to annoying toddler tantrums, that while they are annoying, they are still developmentally appropriate. And it's up to us to really facilitate the containment of that. And we do that by calming ourselves down. We do that by focusing on the skills and really walking them through what we want to see. I hope that helps. And if you have any other questions, shoot them over on Instagram, or if you want to be a guest, fill out the application in the show notes. I would love to have you on and we can do a coaching session on the podcast and really dive into some challenges that you're having. And I would love to be able to support you. All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you for listening to the Responsible Parenting Podcast. If you like what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. If you know someone who would benefit from this podcast, I'd be honored if you'd share this episode with them. Until next time, know that you are enough, you are capable, you've made it through all of your hardest days, and we will keep growing on this parenting journey together. This podcast was produced by Kim Kelty and myself, Becky Jennings, and edited by the Kelty Method, Branding and Podcasting.